Welcome to Meldon Law and Friends. I'm Jeffrey Meldon, the founder and attorney at Meldon Law, and we're glad you could join us today. We've got a terrific show. Before we get into our show with our guest, Mark Pionessa, who happens to be an attorney at Meldon Law, we're going to talk about some really interesting topics, including how the defense handles cases, the insurance company lawyers, that is, handles cases, and how we're able to use that information to get the best results for our clients. Meldon Law has been in practice since 1971, serving the North Central Florida area, Gainesville, Ocala, Lake City, and we always enjoy having you give us a call if you need any help. We represent folks that are seriously injured in automobile and other accidents. So give us a call if you need our help. We're there, 352-373-8000, or just go to meldonlaw.com. Coming events this week, the Orange and Blue football game. That's the big scrimmage that the University of Florida has every year. And Meldon Law is going to be there with a tent and giving away lots of swag. We have our Wheel of Fortune. The game starts at 1 o'clock on Saturday, and the weather right now is beautiful. So Saturday, April 13th, the Orange and Blue game at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium, the Steve Spurrier Field. And get out there, look for the Meldon Law tent at the Fan Fest. Get there a little early. You'll really have a blast. There's lots going on. Sunday, April 14th, we also are supporting the Florida baseball team. They've got some great players on the team this year, and we're rooting them on. Meldon Law is going to be there with the whole team out in left field, trying to have a good time with a picnic and supporting our Gator baseball team. Okay, April 19th and 20th, Meldon Law is sponsoring the Wombash, hosted by the Wombat radio station. That's 90.1 FM. It's a very cool event. I was there last year. So this year, they're having it at First Magnitude Brewing Company because it's the perfect environment that for folks that want to hear great music, have a beer. There's going to be food trucks out there, and we're giving away 4 tickets to the event. Just go to our Facebook page, Meldon Law, and you will be able to enter the contest for 4 free tickets to the Wombash. There's some terrific groups. A group called What It Is headlining. If you didn't hear them last year at the Wombash, you'll definitely want to show up and hear them this year. Williston, Florida, one of our favorite places, on April 20th, beginning at 11 a.m., there's the Macon Bacon Festival, powered by Meldon Law. We are big supporters of the festivities out in Williston at Horseman's Park, and the food vendors are going to be out there. The deal is it's a bacon eating contest, if you can believe that, and they're going to have competition for the best bacon dish. Live entertainment, admission is free, and the family's welcome. Last year, this Macon Bacon event was packed. It was terrific, terrific showing of folks out there. So let's support it. Williston, Saturday, April 20th at 11 a.m. So let's make it happen at the Macon Bacon. Ticket giveaways. Again, Meldon Law is giving away lots of tickets for our different teams, whether it's baseball, softball. We were giving them away for basketball and gymnastics, but now they're over for a while. But just go to Meldon Law Facebook page and you'll see all kinds of giveaways. We love to support our Florida Gators, and Meldon Law is the only official injury law firm partner of the Florida Gators. So we get plenty of tickets, and we love to share them with you. We're going to be back in just a few minutes with our guest, attorney Mark Pionessa, who is working with Meldon Law primarily in our Lake City office. And we're going to have a really interesting talk with Mark about what's going on in the world of personal injury. We'll be back in just a few minutes, so listen up, and we're going to make this a great show.
Jeffrey, what are you doing?
Well, I'm joining the band, of course. Since Meldon Law is the official law firm partner of the Florida Gators, I want to help.
Dad, we're litigators. Let's stick to helping people in the courtroom.
Well, can we still hang out and jam a little bit? At Meldon Law, we won't back down.
I was going down a one-way street and a girl that was driving her car T-boned me on my scooter. I ended up going for an MRI and discovering that I had 2 herniated discs. Coming to Cary allowed me to not have to worry about what doctor I was going to see or what physical therapist I had to go to. They say, these are the people we trust. You're going to have a great experience there. And I honestly did each time.
Call Meldon Law. Your consultation is absolutely free.
Albert, Alberta, I understand you were witnesses to a crash. Can you tell us about the accident? When you're in a crash, it's important to get witness statements immediately after the accident. Whether you're in a car, truck, motorcycle, scooter, or even a golf cart accident, at Meldon Law, we won't back down.
And I was in an accident. Someone ran a red light and hit me, and I was hurt. You don't know where to turn. Luckily, I called Jeffrey. These big insurance companies, they don't want you to win. They truly don't. But Jeffrey and his firm and the people that work here, they just really fight for you. You call the law offices of Jeffrey Meldon, because you're going to need help, and they will help you.
Call Meldon Law right now.
Hey, Sammy, look who's there. Say hi.
Hey!
You again.
Meldon Law, Jeffrey speaking.
Jeffrey!
Somebody else! Here we go again.
After the car accident, your personal life takes a toll when you have major injuries. Being a mother of 3 kids, having to work, it became overwhelming. Didn't know what was going to be my outcome, but Meldon Law actually, they went above and beyond.
At Meldon Law, we're not just your legal team, we're your support system. You do not have to go through this alone. At Meldon Law, we won't back down.
Welcome back to Meldon Law and Friends. Today I have the honor of having one of our great attorneys at Meldon Law, Mark Pionessa, with us today to talk about how he wound up at Meldon Law and some of the lessons that he's learned along the way as an attorney. Welcome to the show, Mark. How you doing?
Good. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, well, this is fun. You haven't been to one of our podcasts before, and I want to let all the viewers and listeners know that we're really excited to have Mark on the show and talk a little bit about your journey and how you wound up running our office in Lake City for Meldon Law. Why don't you talk a little bit about your background, where you grew up, and how you got to where we're at now?
Yeah. So I'm a Florida native. I was born and raised in Jacksonville, Florida, and I actually went to the University of Florida and received my bachelor's and master's in the area of agribusiness. And I really thought that's what I wanted to do in my life. And then 2008 happened, and there was a small recession around that time, and jobs were hard to come by. And a friend of mine, of my dad's, reached out and said that he knew of a part-time job in the courthouse in Duval County, and I was a court recorder. And all I did was make sure that the audio systems in the courtroom for pretrial, like misdemeanor county court criminal matters, was working so that it could be recorded. And I just found myself really engaged in the proceedings. And I don't know, it was around 2009, I guess, on my birthday, we were going to dinner, and my dad said, you know what, if you want to go to law school, I'll help you. Because I was kind of I've always been the type of person, the easiest way for me to do something is tell me I can't do it. So I took the LSAT, and away I went. I never, like I say, I was late in life to become a lawyer, but
You weren't that old.
well, I mean, I don't know. I was 26 maybe. So anyway, so it's been good. I think it's really, really my calling, and I'm happy being a lawyer. I've never looked back. It's not one of those things you go through law school and say, you make sure you want to do this. So it's exactly what I want to do. And I come from a family of small business owners, and during that process, looking back, what I realized is, everybody in some form or fashion, it's almost a win, not an if, you encounter some type of legal issue that you've got to go through or deal with. And there's never a good time to have a legal issue, especially when most people, most clients, are foreign law and the legal processes, whether it's civil or criminal, the procedures in a certain state. It's like a second language. It's kind of foreign to most people. And so not only are you dealing with things that are inconvenience and can be costly, you're dealing with something that you really might not understand. And so I found that as a kid, looking back, I know from my parents and things they had to deal with, whether it be people didn't pay them timely. I know the stresses that legal issues can place on anybody. And so, putting all that together, when I went through law school, I could relate to people and knew that, representing individuals, was a job where, when you did a good job, when you do a good job for them, they're much more appreciative and, really, make you feel good about what you do, that you're doing something.
Well, it's interesting, that you say that, because, one of the best parts of our job, I think, is meeting and talking with our clients and helping them through real life solutions to what their problems are.
Exactly. And so, when we dealing with injured clients, you're dealing with an individual. It's one person, and the thing that they're up against is an insurance company, and insurance companies are conglomerates, and they're like big box stores. They've got money and they've got ways to kind of push people that are either don't have the experience in dealing with them around, or can think that they can kind of get out, I would say, inexpensive or cheap to somebody that might be new or naive to the process, and that's where we come in. And
Now, didn't you have experience working for these defense firms?
I did. So for about 6 years, that's what I did. I did premise liability defense, auto defense, some construction defense. But you're working for an insurance company. Your client is a named person or individual or company, but the person that is kind of the tail wagging the dog is an insurance company and an adjuster. And so what I find is you just get on like a routine, and you can work really hard, get a really good result, and what you get is a one-line email. Hey, good job on this one, on to the next. And there's no sense of, you just, over time, you get to where you feel like you're not appreciative. It's like you can never do enough, and it's just, you just become on a wheel, like a hamster on a wheel. You're just, picking them up and putting them down as far as each case or file, and they just becomes very monotonous. And you learn that there's cases in all types of the spectrum. There's, from small value, high value, however you look at it, they're all important to the person making the claim, and they all have, all of them are important. There's not one that's not more or less important because, to that one person, even a relatively what we would think is a minor injury might have a huge impact on that particular person's life.
It's interesting you say that, Mark, because in the state of Florida, there's no required bodily injury insurance, which means that the person that caused the crash might have no bodily injury liability insurance at all. However, a lot of cases you find that there may only be $10,000 or $25,000 worth of insurance. If we can get the policy limit and resolve the case, sometimes getting $5,000 or $10,000 to a person that can make a change in their life. It helps them get caught up with any outstanding bills. It helps them with their resolving the case, getting their property damaged, their car repaired. So even though in Meldon Law we really try to get large settlements for our clients, sometimes the insurance dictates what we're able to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's really, sometimes it's unfortunate because people don't realize how small an insurance policy they have in the grand scheme of things. When I say the grand scheme of things, when you talk about medical bills, if you get in an accident and you just go to the ER and get an X-ray or CT scan, you're only there a couple hours and they release you. Oftentimes we're seeing bills that just one visit will be in excess of $10,000. And so when you start talking about those numbers and it's like, hey, I'm just going to get checked out, and then you're faced with a bill, when an insurance carrier or adjuster or representative tells you, oh, you've got full coverage, a lot of people don't understand what full coverage means, and no one explains it to them. And that's one thing that's really nice about Meldon Law is we have a pamphlet for consumers that kind of instruct you on, hey, if you're shopping insurance and you're not sure what you're getting or what you're paying for, contact us and we're happy to look at it for you and tell you what you're getting, and is this really enough coverage in today's world when we're looking at medical bills that are very high and often in excess of $10,000 for just an emergency room visit. So that's one great thing that Meldon Law provides, and many people don't know what the insurance coverage they're dealing with until they're in a situation and they need to file a claim. And then that's where oftentimes we come in and help them make the most of it, even if it's a low policy limits or coverage limits. It's our job to make it as quick as possible for them to maximize the recovery in a low limit situation, so they're not upside down in medical bills for a long period of time.
Yeah, one of the things that we've been focusing in on the last several months is trying to move people's cases along so they don't drag out for a year or 2 years or 3 years. We certainly spend more time on the cases where the injuries are really serious. There's lots of insurance involved, and you try to focus in on those without losing sight of the fact that even a small case, the folks want to get some resolution on it sooner rather than later.
Right. I mean, going back to there's no convenient time to go through a lawsuit, even if it's a relatively minor accident where you just need you have 4 or 5 weeks of treatment. You just need some chiropractic therapy or non-invasive treatment, physical therapy. That's still medical treatment, and if it's no fault of your own, a liability policy of the at-fault party should make you whole. I mean, should pay for any damage they cause to you, even if it's just temporary. And that's what we try to do, is to make sure that you get the treatment you need, put you in a position as you felt your physical state was before the accident, and then see where you're at as far as medical treatment, what the policy limits are for the liable party, and get you the result as quickly as we can. And nice thing that I've learned about Meldon is I've been doing personal injury law for about 2 years now, and one of the big differences that Meldon has going for us, other than a lot of the other law firms, is we have a customer service team. And once a case comes in, the client will have spoken with everyone on the team within the first 24 to 48 hours after being signed up. You have an attorney that's taking lead on your case, you have a case manager, we have an intake team, and we also have a customer service specialist. And so you will be introduced to all of those folks within 24 or 48 hours of signing up with us. And then you will also hear from someone from your team. Initially, you'll hear very often from them, but as your case progresses or goes on, you will hear from them every 2 weeks. And that's something that most firms don't offer or can't offer just because they are the big volume firms, the kind of like the big box store of injury firms. And too often we hear, oh yeah, I'm represented by so-and-so, and I've never even spoken to my attorney, or I've only spoken to a case manager. And that's just not, it's not sufficient when someone's dealing with legal issues. And at Meldon, we understand that, and that's why we make the introduction initially and make sure that our clients hear from an attorney that's actually handling their case. And just being my short time here, clients are really appreciative of that. And that's something that distinguishes our firm from many others. Another thing that Meldon offers that I am unaware of any other firm offering is we have a property damage specialist.
Yeah, Adam is great, right? And that used to be the biggest holdup, and it took more time for our case managers or attorneys to get the property damage resolved. So when you're in a big crash, your car's knocked out of commission, or you just need to get it repaired, but it's going to be in the shop, and how much are they going to pay for it, and is it going to get done right? All those issues are really important to you when it's your car.
Exactly, and most people don't have several vehicles at their fingertips to drive. Oftentimes it's like, yes, I'm hurt, but my vehicle was totaled or it's being repaired. How do I get to the doctor? Luckily, there are rideshare services now like Lyft or Uber, but depending on where you live or where your doctor's located, that's not always an option. So it always comes down to, yes, I need medical treatment for myself, but I don't have transportation, right? Yeah. So it's nice that we can offer that service to have a property damage expert kind of help facilitate the estimate or the repair process, and a lot of clients are really appreciative of that.
And sometimes we're able to get you into a rental car while your car is being fixed. And look, nobody wants their lives turned upside down by an accident, being injured, having to go to doctor's appointments, and then on top of it, they take your car's taken away from you to get it repaired, right? And you're trying to figure out, well, I got to go to work, I got to pick up the kids, I got to, do all these different things, and I need transportation. So we have found that it's really important for us to focus in on the first couple weeks of a case. There's a lot of interaction going on for the folks that we're representing.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. There's between the property damage aspect of it, explaining PIP and personal injury protection, how that works, making sure that everything that either initially is ailing you, and then those ailments that come up 3, 4, 5 days later as time goes on from the accident. Yeah, there's a lot of moving parts. And initially, and then it kind of ideally all those things kind of narrow down and kind of taper off as hopefully you recover.
Yeah, I mean, so the first 30 days, there's all this stuff going on. Many of our clients are getting medical care on a regular basis. Once we get the car fixed, we get the person situated as far as knowing how much insurance is involved, what's the coverage, what are the possible directions that my case may go, what's hurting me. This, when the accident first happened, there's certain complaints you have, but in the first couple weeks, you figure out, well, this is really hurting me a lot. This is feeling better, and you start to get a sense of what a person's injuries are and what help they need from different doctors. And I think the most effective way to help a client is by communicating with them.
Absolutely. That's the only way you learn. That's the only way to learn what's going on. Yeah.
And so this is really the secret, is that we get so many calls from clients that are with, we call them the big box firms. Meldon Law, we're not small and we're not large. We're right in the middle, which is really the best for the client, because we have about 35 folks on our team. So it's enough people to really give you individualized attention and service, and stay in touch, get the job done in a way that doesn't turn your life upside down more than it already has. However, what we hear from a lot of clients is they don't get good communication from their law firm. And for me, it's always kind of been fun, because I like people, I like talking to people, and you get to know the people. Many of our best cases come from referrals from folks that maybe they didn't have a major injury, maybe they didn't need surgery, but they came to us, we did a good job for them, and one of their family members or friends has a really serious accident, and then they refer them to us. So we try to treat everybody that comes to us as though they're special, because their case is important to them and it is special for them.
Yeah, and another thing about being in communication with your clients is, in the rare chance, or 10%, 15% of cases that do get to a trial, one of the most important things is you're taught as a lawyer is to know your case. Well, in our world, the only way to know your case is to know your client. And you don't learn how an event, an injury, an accident impacts a client unless you get to know them and either see it or hear from their family members, get to know their family members. And the more familiar you are with your client and those that may be witnesses at trial, the more comfortable you are, and you're not selling the case to yourself at that point. The only people you have to convince of the case is the jury. And it's much easier to convince something. It's much easier to sell a product when you believe in the product. And so when you know your client and you believe in their case, it's a much easier sell to a jury when you know the intimate details of your client's case.
Yeah, one thing I've always enjoyed is when I'm working on a case and trying to figure out, what are the strengths of the case. I call my client and talk to the client, and you say, what about this, and why was there a gap in treatment, and why did this happen, and why did you, what's really hurting you the most now, and is the doctor that's treating you helping you get better, and what are the alternatives? And it's amazing, just by talking with the client, you learn a lot about what's the best way to handle the case.
That's right.
It's really amazing. So, Mark, you're heading up our Lake City office. Let's talk about Lake City a little bit, and what's going on up there. I know it seems to be growing.
It is, like anywhere in Florida. I left Jacksonville because Jacksonville is not the same city I grew up in, and the urban sprawl. But when I moved to Lake City back in October of 2023. I've been working in Lake City about two and a half years now. But if you talk to people who've been there their whole life, like, Lake City's really changed. And Lake City's a relatively small town, but it is growing. I-10 and I-75 intersect there, and I know there's some big companies looking to move to Lake City. I know there's some development going on, and it's going to continue to grow. I enjoy being in Lake City. I live there now. It's because of just the city it is. It does have some small town feel, but it's I'm there. I'm in the community. You'll see me in the grocery stores. You might see me in church, depending on which church you go to. But there's big things that are happening, particularly in our office. And unfortunately, with growth and people, when people interact with one another, accidents happen. And so, in the event that if Hamilton, Swanee, Columbia County, if something unfortunate happens, we are there. Our office is right there on 90, close to the interstate, and I'm there 5 days a week.
Well, that's great. It's been really good talking with you, Mark, and folks listening out there. We really want to encourage you to give us a call. Lake City is a great area. I started handling cases there, back in the 1970s and 80s. I've always enjoyed it. It's a really nice community. The people have always been friendly and welcoming there. And so Lake City, we try to have our offices convenient to our clients. We love the Tri-County area, which is, again, you got Lake City, you got Live Oak and Jasper. And those three communities kind of converge in Lake City, right where our office is. US 90 and I-75. If you live in Live Oak, you're going to probably be over there, fairly frequently.
That's right.
And that's where the shopping is and the restaurants are and everything else. So we want to encourage anybody in that area to stop by, say hello to Mark, and Marcia is also there, and we're really excited about the growth within the community, and also having you on board, Mark, has been great. You understand how the insurance companies work, and how we can help our clients to take an unfortunate situation and turn it around for them, and maybe have them come out at least being able to pay all their bills and being able to catch up on what's been going on after a serious accident.
Absolutely.
So thank you very much, everyone, for listening and viewing the show today. We're really glad that you could be with us, and we'll be back next week for another live edition of Meldon Law and Friends.